Hey guys, Eric here with Rock Hard Physique's channel on YouTube, and we're here today with a very special guest, Chris Ruden. Chris, welcome.
Appreciate you having me.
He is he's going to be an NPC competitor for the first time.
First time.
First time. How's that feel?
Scary, but good. Yeah, scary, but good. Being a power lifter for so many years, it's different to go on stage and not lift something.
Right.
So it'll be different, but I'm excited.
So now we have some challenges with this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to us what your challenges are with the diet and what's happening in your life as well with that.
So I was born with a limb difference. I have 2 fingers on my left hand and a shorter left arm, and also have type 1 diabetes that I got at 19 years old, so about 10 years ago. And with type 1, it's a minute-by-minute condition.
Right.
So anything affects my blood sugar, from carbs, sugars, proteins, stress, cardio, different types of intensities. So I have a continuous glucose monitor that's on me. It links to my phone, constantly tells me my sugar, and there will be workouts pretty frequently, especially as I lose weight, that I need to go get carbs, and then I have to make sure I don't overdo it for the day with the carbs. So
right.
It's definitely a challenge having type 1 diabetes, but it's doable.
Right. So and your diet is very specific.
It has to be specific, and the second I go outside of it, it makes it a lot harder to control.
Wow. That's really unique and challenging.
I think a lot of people don't really, they hear diabetes and they think, oh, my grandma has diabetes, but they don't really think like the true implications of my pancreas doesn't produce insulin.
Right.
So anytime that it requires that, my bloodstream has sugar in it, which can cause long-term damage, all kinds of stuff.
My grandfather was a type 1 diabetic, and he had an ingrown toenail, and gangrene started to set in.
Yep.
And he had to have it taken off.
Leading cause of amputations in the appendages, type 1 diabetes, as well as the 7th leading cause of death in the world. So unmanaged, it can be a nightmare.
So managing that,
yes,
your diet,
plus the mentality, everything else, and life in general. People don't realize like how tough that can be. But I don't look for sympathy. It's not one of those things. It's one of those like you learn to adapt with what you have. And for me, I don't have another choice. Giving up is not really an option, because like I want to maximize the life that I have, not only for me, but for the people watching. Because like 10 years ago, I would have never committed to going on stage and being judged by something that I wasn't comfortable with myself. So it's not just about me.
Right. Now, when you were younger, how is the difference when you were younger?
So growing up with a disability, everyone interprets it differently. There are people who are completely okay. For me, I wasn't. I was very self-conscious, to the point where I hid my disability for 17 years. Even when you met me in Busybody, I was wearing a glove. I always wore a glove on my left hand because I just wasn't comfortable. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I became comfortable enough to like not have to hide. So it was a struggle, from body image issues to like depression and all that. That's why this is so big to me, because to be able to allow people to judge my body, my physique, my biggest, source of insecurity, where I'm at a completely different level now.
Right. That's very challenging. Now, when did you get into fitness?
So I really got into fitness when I got diagnosed with diabetes at 19. That was like a pivotal moment for me to be like, I need to do something. I need to get healthy. I need to take care of it. And I always loved bodybuilding. Like I always saw the magazines and stuff. I bought like a muscular development magazine, and I'm like, I'm going to look like that in a few months. And I didn't really understand.
That took a few years.
A lot of years, a decade. Right. So
I've been doing it over 30 years.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to
get
like
there. Yeah. But like I've always been intrigued, but having a disability, I always said I'm a one-handed guy living in a two-handed world, So getting on these machines that are made for people with normal bodies, it was different. So I had to adapt everything.
Right.
I ended up coming up with a way to deadlift, like use a hook. I did all kinds of stuff.
I saw that. I saw you. Yeah. And you developed
the apparatus. So I ended up working with the company to develop a custom length so that I could lift and not have back issues,
Sure.
And I ended up
had to be perfectly
proper
aligned.
length, because if not, for years I was lifting the wrong way. So my erectors and my lower back muscles ended up getting imbalanced,
Right.
So I still built on that foundation, and eventually that crumbled because I got injured in powerlifting and stuff like that. But Yeah, I mean, I still found a way to get up to a 675-pound deadlift, you know, and I
And
made it.
I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've seen you deadlift and I've seen you train, and you're a strong dude, man.
It was fun. It was fun for a while, but I needed the change because I did it for years and I got to some goals. I accomplished those goals, and I'm like, now it's time to do new goals. So I feel like everyone, it was scary at first because I felt like I was defined by powerlifting. That's how people knew me, you know, as
Right,
the
right.
deadlifter, you know. And now it's like I'm adding to that. I'm adding to my repertoire. I'm not taking away. Now I'm the guy who is strong and the guy who can get lean too, you know.
So now the show coming up.
Yes.
How many weeks we got?
About six in a few days. So
6 in a few
six
days.
in a few days. Got to
Yeah.
add those few days.
And the show is
The CJ Sunshine Classic in Palm Beach.
CJ show's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the first. So CJ actually got me
So
interested
it's
in bodybuilding.
CJ and Frank Dalton.
Yes, CJ and Frank.
Yeah.
I met CJ about 10 years ago, and she inspired me to she took me under her wing pretty much. She
Yeah,
brought
she's
me to my
great.
first show, Southern States, and Masters Olympia, if you remember that in Miami. There was a
Yes,
Masters
yes,
Olympia.
yes, I
So
remember
I
that.
went to that. I got to listen to Flex Wheeler and Ronnie talk about their process, and I was hooked from there. I was like, this is it. I met Hidetama Yamagishi and Flex Lewis at their prime, and I was just a tiny little
You were
kid
in
wearing,
awe, right?
wearing mediums and smalls, trying to fit in, you know. But from that moment, I told CJ I'm gonna do your show. If I ever compete, I'm gonna do your show. And now we're here, and that's so crazy. She doesn't even know
And
yet.
how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Wow.
She doesn't even know.
She doesn't even know you're
No,
competing.
she doesn't know.
I won't tell her.
No,
But
and if she sees
might
this,
be.
she's gonna
She
lose
might
her
know.
mind. Yeah, that's exciting though.
She's gonna know.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I kind of want to surprise her and just they announce my name and she's gonna be like, "What? Yeah,
Where the hell this guy come from?"
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's cool.
Now we got 6.5 weeks away. Now you're working with a coach.
Uh huh.
Does he know what you need to do with your diet?
I was
How
very,
does this work?
very fortunate to meet him through social media, and then we connected and became really good friends. He is actually a type 1 diabetic himself. He's a men's physique pro, IFBB
Okay.
pro, and he coaches a lot of people, especially type 1s. So I trust him fully with that. He understands the diet component. He's given me a flexible approach. It's comforting to know that not only does he know the exercise science side of things, he's a chiropractor, but he knows the diabetes side of things, which is huge. you know?
Wow. So that's good in your
And
favor.
I not only do I trust him, but I respect him, and that's huge to have in a coach. You have to have that level of respect and the division between being able to be friends, but being able to do the work when you need to, you know?
I've seen how you look
Yeah.
the last few days,
Yeah.
and you're coming along.
For sure.
You're definitely coming along.
I'm excited. Day by day,
I'm
week by week.
excited for you. I can't
haven't
wait
been
to see you
this
up
weight in years. I mean, maybe 5 years ago, I competed at 181 in powerlifting twice, and then never again did I see that
there. I
weight.
think once you get really dialed in, you're going to do well.
It'll be. I'm excited to present my best package, and I know it's a comparison competition, but for me, it's presenting the best package that I possibly
So
can.
who else is going to be there to support you?
Definitely a lot of people from my past. So past competitors, I prepped some people in figure and physique, and I know a lot of people are coming out of the woodworks to say, "Hey, I know we haven't really talked, but this is your first
Wow.
show." Everyone wants to.
Well, you know what? You're an inspiration to a lot of people.
And I appreciate that. For me, I don't do it intentionally, but I'm glad someone can take something. I feel like everyone has a story or a message that they can offer,
Right.
and the fact that my story can help someone make a better decision for themselves makes me happy.
Right. Well, you've been through all this, and you could give someone else inspiration on doing something different.
I feel like
Not-
that's
not
our
being
job.
afraid.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, that's our
you know.
job. Your experiences shouldn't just be kept to you, because your experience and your perspective on your experience can give someone that perspective they might need to make it through. You know, that one little push. You never know what someone's going through. So to be like, "Hey, you look great," or just throw out that compliment, empower someone to do something. It makes a difference. You know.
Well, let the people know what you do. You're an inspirational
Yeah.
speaker.
So I speak professionally around the country. I've done hundreds of events all around the world. I've spoken in Uganda and Africa.
And who do you speak to?
So I speak to corporations, associations, schools, different groups about overcoming adversity, and then diversity and inclusion, especially in the disability space.
Right. Well, that's great,
Yeah,
man.
I
That's
love what I
great.
do, man. And for me, it's just a embodiment, like from speaking to my body to everything. It's showing that there is always a solution to a problem if you choose to look for it enough.
Right.
It's not going to be
Sure.
easy, but it's possible.
Yeah. Well, you got to work for
That's
everything
it.
that you want.
That's
You
it.
know. Um, so, is there any other shows that you're looking at after this?
I haven't even thought that far, man. I am like
I
keeping
mean, because
my head to
usually
the
you get
ground.
ready for a local show.
Yeah,
You want to look for something maybe a week after, 2 weeks
I'm
after.
completely open to that.
You
I am
know,
super open to that.
because you could always improve.
Yeah, definitely.
You could
I
always
believe that
improve.
heavily. This is, to me, this is so like,
And it's good experience for you.
it's such a big
This is
thing.
your first show, and you're also a coach.
Yeah, yeah. So I do
So
that
you've,
for
you've
private.
coached a few people.
Yeah, I prepped a few people for the stage, and it's definitely different to be on the coaching side than to be on the
Right. Well, you're getting firsthand
Yeah.
what it feels like.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very easy to keep yourself level-headed when you're the coach.
Yeah.
It's very different when you're the athlete, and that's why I feel like you have to have that separation, you know.
Yeah.
But I like being on this side of it now because I get to experience what I put people through before, and I'm open to doing another show. You know, I want to make sure I present my best package possible, and as long as I do that, I want to keep the love for the sport and not exhaust it. Like I see a lot, it happens to a lot of people, you know, and I'm sure you've seen that where people either do too much or they sacrifice the physique they've built to try and get leaner and leaner and leaner, and eventually they're left with nothing.
Right.
You know,
You-
you have to do it smart.
exactly. You got to do it smart. You got to do it healthy.
Yeah,
And, you know, just make sure you bring in the total package.
definitely, definitely.
You don't want to be too muscular where you sacrifice
Leanness or
leanness,
conditioning.
Conditioning to me was always key.
That's what I'm trying to go for.
And I've competed for a long time, and I've competed against bigger guys,
yeah,
but my conditioning was what always made me win. I mean, my height, I was always supposed to be a heavyweight, but I was always the top of the light heavyweight. So I never could break that threshold,
yeah. Because it takes a lot to go up that.
but I would win my class on a lot of events, and then I would win the overall. It was all conditioning.
Yeah, and that's what I want. Like I feel like the conditioning is the most respectful part because that's
Right.
you see the work there. A lot of people are big at LA Fitness and gyms. You know, they're
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people are big. You know, but it's another thing to be lean and to be the leanest on stage. That when you step on stage, people are like, wow. That's what watching Olympia, watching these things. I'm like, you see the dryness and the fullness and the aesthetic that conditioning brings, and it's next level. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I judge as well,
so I'm sure you see.
and
it.
I'm a big fan of the sport.
Mhm.
So when I see someone up there, I get wowed.
When you see
too.
impressive conditioning, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
your eyes are drawn to it. I don't care how big another
Yeah.
guy is, the guy with that conditioning. And I respect that. So I agree with you as well on that.
And the most important thing is practice your posing. Practice,
Yes,
practice,
yes.
practice. Because I don't care how good you look, if you don't know how to present it, the judges are going to know, and you're not going to bring out your best.
I put it this way. You spent all this time building the car of your dreams, and you took it to a show, but you didn't wash it? You know? Like,
Or wax it.
yeah, you didn't do that, you know?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, fortunately we're here at Redcon 1 Gym
Definitely. I joined
here
about a month
in
ago.
Boca,
so-
Florida,
Yeah.
Boca Raton, Florida, which we're both members at.
Yes.
And I have to say, this is one of the best gyms I've ever been
This is
at.
definitely one of the best facilities I've worked at. I worked out here once, and I was like, I'm signing up. I
Yeah.
live 30 minutes plus away, and I come here
I
because
love that hardcore
the
feel.
hardcore, the environment, the equipment, like it's, for me, it pushes me even more. So in those moments where I'm like not really motivated, I'm like, but there's that machine, there's that one piece of
Yeah.
equipment that I love, you know?
And everyone here has pretty much got that same mindset.
Yes, yeah. The
The
culture is
the
huge.
energy is really good.
I don't know
here.
if you've ever walked into like a good gym, but a bad culture. You know, you go and you're like, this is an incredible gym, but it feels off.
Well, I
throws you.
always was attracted to energy.
Same.
I need that energy to get me through a good workout. I mean, yeah, you could
Still
make
There's
yourself.
those days where if you have to work out at home, you have to because of whatever. You know, if you have
Right,
to work at
right.
a hotel gym. But
But just
preference-wise,
feeling that
I want to have
energy is
this.
so different.
It is. It is.
You
And it
know?
makes your workout different too. Like as much as you say it's you versus you, you got to put in the work. It's nice to have something not go against, add it to be harder. Work smarter, not harder. For me, that's creating an environment that I can, do that.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Well, Chris, thank you for being on,
I appreciate you having me, man.
and best of luck at your show. And I'm sure people are going to come see you, root you on.
It'll be exciting.
You know?
It'll definitely be exciting. I promise I'm going to do my job to present the best package I can. So,
I know you will.
yes, sir.
I know
Thank you
will.
again for having me.
You got it. This is Eric with Rock Hard Physique's YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. And make sure you come check out Redcon 1 Gym. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.